Hello, welcome back. I'm Adina Moss.
And I'm Rose Kelley, and we're here to give you the inside scoop on the issues concerning our ocean's health.
According to the Environmental Investigative Agency, 13 million tons of plastic are deposited into our oceans annually, and yet we don't even seem to realize the issues that evolve from it. These issues concern many parties, including our way of life, plants, and animals.
Yes, and did you know that according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, our oceans produce over half of the world's oxygen and absorb 50 times more carbon dioxide than our atmosphere. It also regulates our climate and weather patterns. We depend on our oceans a great deal.
And now we will join Austin Edwards, who will be discussing the importance and the state of the ocean.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me at the bottom of the ocean. Today I will be discussing facts about the ocean. The ocean has been around for about 3.8 billion years, and most scientists agree that the atmosphere and the ocean accumulated gradually over millions and millions of years with the continual degassing of the Earth's interior. According to this theory, the ocean formed from the escape of water vapor and other gases from the molten rocks of the Earth to the atmosphere surrounding the cooling planet. So basically just lots and lots of rain. Over the past 3.8 billion years, the ocean has grown into the vast world it is today. The ocean covers roughly 70% of the Earth. This entitles the ocean to play a massive role in climate regulation. Producing more than 50% of the oxygen that we breathe, the ocean is arguably the most important factor integral to human life, behind the sun. Today, the oceans are in worse conditions than they ever have been. Pollution is killing the oceans, and humans are the reason. After talking about the state of our oceans and why they are crucial to human life, I will now be handing it back to Adina to elaborate on where pollution comes from.
Thank you, Austin, for explaining the importance of our oceans and the current state of it. I will now go into depth about the reason as to why our oceans are in this state. Pollution. According to Craig Blome in What is the Impact of Ocean Pollution, pollution comes mostly from the land, not the ocean. It comes in many forms: air, light, noise, chemical, and oil, just to name a few. Chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides that are meant for agricultural purposes are dispersed onto farmland. Once precipitation starts pouring onto those fields, the chemicals are then transported through streams and rivers which run off into the ocean. Drops of oil from thousands of vehicles flow into the sewers, which also make their way into the ocean. Air pollution accompanies vehicles and factories, which fall into the ocean either by gravity or rainfall. Household and factory chemicals, medical refuse, and radioactive waste all somehow make their way into the marine ecosystem, which holds dire consequences for the planet. Despite the major impact of all of these pollutants, the most widespread and cataclysmic is plastic. In fact, according to the journal article Managing Marine Plastic Pollution, written by John Tibetz, plastic comes mostly from two sources: litter and garbage discarded in open dumps or landfills that blows or washes away, entering the ocean from inland waterways, wastewater outflows, and the wind. Hey, I've seen people throw out random wrappers and plastic bottles out the window. Stop that. Major waterways can also transport a great deal of plastic waste. According to one report, plastic cargo lost from ships has been found more than 10,000 kilometers from where it was lost. Can you imagine? And now I will be handing it to Rose to discuss how pollutants affect plants, animals, and humans.
Thank you, Adina, for explaining where pollution comes from. Pollution affects both humans and animals. They are linked together in many ways, from medicinal to recreational. Today, nearly 100,000 marine animals are killed due to harmful plastics and toxins in the ocean. This, however, sadly, is only what is visible to the human eye. It is estimated that marine animals that lie at the bottom of the ocean are harmed by these pollutants. Daily, humans throw away unwanted or used up goods without the thought of what happens after it. These trash particles congregate in the ocean and choke or entangle our beloved wildlife. In some cases, sea turtles have been found to have drinking straws lodged in airways and eyes. Scientists have found that by inhaling the pollution from the air that it will settle in the affected animal's tissue and begin to build up. Due to this buildup, the animal begins experiencing extreme discomfort until inevitably it is either caught to be consumed by humans or it simply passes on. Studies estimate that anywhere from 15 to 51 trillion pieces of garbage reside in our oceans today. These particles of trash can be found wrapped up in the stomachs and airways of different species that call our oceans their home. And now I will go into detail over how pollution affects humans. Somewhere around 10 million metric tons enters the ocean annually, according to Megan Avakian. This trash disrupts the way of life in the ocean and can affect humans by releasing toxic chemicals to wildlife, which will over time diminish the availability of food from the ocean. If not eaten immediately, plastics can break down and enter the food cycle, eventually entering the human body and residing in the bloodstream. Mercury, which is produced by mining and fossil fuel incineration, is expelled into the atmosphere, eventually landing in the ocean to infect the wildlife. Whenever a pregnant individual consumes seafood infected with mercury, it could have effects such as lowered IQ and behavioral issues. In adults, effects may result in a heightened risk for dementia and heart disease. Joining mercury are nitrogen and phosphorus. These chemicals invade the ocean and create areas where waters become toxic to nearly all living organisms. Eating animals from these areas could result in death, amnesia, or neurological damage. You may be wondering, how can we prevent pollution from wreaking havoc upon our planet? And now, I will be handing it back to Adina to discuss methods that will help remedy this issue.
Thank you, Rose, for shedding light on how pollution affects everything on Earth, as we are all interconnected in some way. I will now be answering the question of what is being done about this issue, as well as what we, average Joes, can do to fix this issue. I want you all to think of this metaphor. If your sink was overflowing, what would you do? Of course, you would panic, and then remember you have a plunger, a mop, and a bucket around. You could use either one of those tools. No. You need to turn off the tap first. That is the metaphor that David Katz talks about on his TED Talk about what is being done to salvage what we can do about the ocean. We must stop and think about what is causing the issue. Our ocean and soon our planet are rapidly going extinct with the amount of plastic we produce. Plastic is everywhere. It is our major source of pollution that affects us all the most negatively. According to David Katz, we were trending to produce over 300 million tons of plastic for 2018. Roughly about 8 million tons are racing toward the ocean to join the estimated 150 million tons of plastic that is already there. We are dumping it, which is being consumed by aquatic life. It is in the food chain. We are essentially consuming bits and pieces of plastic, which is building up in our bodies, and we can't find a way to filter it out since they are microscopic. You may be wondering where this plastic production is coming from. Reportedly, about 80% of plastic is coming from poorer countries, according to David Katz. When you are just trying to survive, recycling is probably the least of your concerns. That is why he created this chain store called Plastic Bank. It is a bank that allows poor people to turn in plastic after weighing it and checking its quality in exchange for money. That money from the plastic is transferred into an online account. That plastic is then sold to companies like Marks & Spencer's, who commission the use of social plastic in their products. By buying those products that have social plastic embossed on it, you are indirectly contributing to closing the loop of producing plastic and mitigating poverty. This process can be replicated anywhere. Now, you are probably wondering how you can help preserve the ocean. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, for at-home sustainability, you can use less water so excess runoff and wastewater will not flow into the ocean. You can also cut down on what you throw away. And for around town, when shopping, bring your own reusable bag to fill your groceries in. Another way you can be sustainable is by being fuel efficient. And I'm sure you want to try and be as fuel savvy as possible, especially with the increase in gas prices. Instead of driving everywhere, you could try carpooling, biking, or walking instead. Overall, the whole point is to reduce your ecological footprint. Thank you for tuning in on how we can reduce the amount of pollution affecting plants, animals, and humans alike.
Hello, thank you for accompanying us on our oceanic expedition. We discussed many important issues that pertain to our oceans. Overall, there must be an immediate call to action. I talked about the current state of our oceans and how they are crucial to life on Earth. We should encourage people to do their part in preserving natural ecosystems.
I hope you all leave today's broadcast armed with information about how pollution influences and affects us all. With plastic being the main form of pollution, we should find solutions to reduce the amount of plastic being produced, as it is spreading into our ecosystems, which is detrimental to all life on Earth.
In conclusion, the state of our marine ecosystems are rapidly declining, and we need to do something to remedy the damage that humans have caused. Some solutions that you can do are signing petitions for reducing plastic production within companies and lessening your own ecological footprint. Thank you for tuning in today. We'll see you next time.